The expectations of the public and funders is often that you can propose something today that'll make a difference in cancer treatment tomorrow. That in general is not true.
All applied science derived from basic science. Monday I met my president, François Hollande, and I told him, look, you have to continue to have basic science as a priority. Otherwise, you will not have any applied science.
In Australia right now, I don't necessarily agree with the policy of the government. They say we're translational research. You've got to make something useful. So that is all right, that could pay the bills. But in fact, the really big discovery is going to be further down in some kind of fundamental observation.
We never know. That is even the definition of basic science. We cannot predict in advance.
You're all being asked now by your funding agencies and by your institutions, does your work have impact? You do not know if your work has impact.
When I was a young professor, impact factors, I didn't even know what that meant.
Students learn fairly early on that this is a very, very tough world, that it may be more important to get your paper into a high-impact journal than it is to make an exciting discovery you want to talk to your friends about. That's discouraging.
With my publication record back then, if it was today, I don't think I would be promoted because all of my publications were in good journals, Journal of Biological Chemistry. I thought that was, if I could get my papers into JBC, I was really excited.
When I started out, I had no real ambitions about doing science, but I learned that it was really fun to do an experiment and talk to your friends about it and publish it. I didn't care where it was published.
Try to have a little bit of space in your scientific career where you have pleasure for yourself to try to make discoveries that can be important for others.
What I hear from my graduates or my postdocs is that they can't get a job, a good job, unless they have one or two papers in Nature, Science, or Cell.
People come up for promotion. People say, how many first author papers in science does this person have? How many citations? That is madness.
I hope there's some way that we can get out of this trend.
I believe that one way we can deal with the really unfortunate influences of certain journals and the editorial process that slows down dissemination of new knowledge is to make use of preprints the way the physicists do. These servers allow you to put your work up early. You don't need to wait 1 to 2 years before the work is available to the scientific community. There are difficulties about this development because people are nervous that Cell might not accept your paper if you've already put it on a preprint server, or people might not believe you, or people are going to say all kinds of outrageous things in a preprint server. But I think there are good answers to all of those concerns. My view is that if they've finished the work, they ought to post it on a preprint server, get credit for it, and move on to the next stage.
You should never publish data which you don't understand. If you publish that data, some other smart person at Nanjing University or Peking, they'll look at your data, they'll figure it out. And they will win the Nobel Prize, not you. Because the person who figures it out gets the prize, not the person who did the research. So a lot of Nobel Prize winners won the Nobel Prize because they was reading someone else's paper and they figured out something. And best one probably Albert Einstein. He never did any research. He never did any experiments. He just sat in the patent office thinking about other people's work.
I used to say the tricks for collaboration is the 3C. Confidence, complementary, and competency.
So it's good to have a partner or a colleague who's older, who's more mature and more steady, perhaps. Also critical of your ideas. So, I said, I think this could cause ulcers. Look at this. He says, oh, it's just one piece of evidence. This is too important. You've got to find more evidence. So come back in 3 months. So it gives me lots of work to do to find more evidence. So that's the kind of partner you want. Somebody who's skeptical but has some respect for your skills.
I think for anyone who's embarking on a life in science and knows that there's going to be a lot of frustration, you have to have other things in your life that keep you going. One thing I recommend to new students or new postdocs is that they have two experimental lines going at once. One that may be very risky and will produce a lot of frustration, and another that's less interesting, but you know you're going to get gratification. The techniques are better established and you will get some results.
So when your experiment doesn't work, you have to find out why it didn't work, because that might be the secret clue into the new discovery.
Negative experience, you have always to make it positive. Because even during my postdoc, I've learned a lot from all the failure. And so it's a point that I wanted to stress. Don't be so impatient, because you can learn even from negative data.
So if it feels like work, then maybe you should be doing some other project or something else.
I just found that I loved doing research, and I was really interested in the questions. As we solved one, there was always a new one. And so, you know, it may look like I took a particular path in a very focused way, but I just followed my interests.
Try to be original, try to do something you like, and the big discoveries, they come from curiosity-driven research. Do curiosity-driven research, and probably you'll be successful because you'll be much better than everybody else in that field.